Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get back to Iraq. We know today there was discussion about the Iraqi exchange rate. What does that mean for dinar holders? Good, bad, indifference? Who knows? We're going to see, though. Somebody also asked me, Pimpy keeps saying when they devalue their currency, that means they pay back their debt with less dollars. Can you explain? So I'll give you a quick scenario on what that is and what that means. But before we get started, if you could do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button because it helps me get past the YouTube algorithm, which shadow bans my channel from non-subscribed users. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel and I surely do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver right now is the perfect time to do so. If you do, go check out our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code PIMPY, P-I-M-P-Y, and they will give you a free half ounce of silver. Get back, get back, get back to what Iraq wants. Just being silly. It details the result of hosting the Minister of Finance in Parliament. A change in the exchange rate is unlikely. Not surprising to those of you who listen to my channel. So it said the Iraq Parliament hosted on Monday in its second session of the fifth electoral cycle Finance Minister Alawi and discussed the dollar exchange rate and its repercussions on the local markets in the presence of 288 deputies. So it said that Alawi went in there and had discussions about the high dollar exchange rate on the market, the damage to the poor segment, and the discussion of public debt and the financial policy of the Ministry of Finance and the proposed treatment. So people want to know, Pimpy, how is it? How does the devaluation of any currency for that matter, how does it affect the poor? I will show you an example of that, because you're going to see that your same money does not buy the same amount of things. Therefore, if poor people are in desperate needs of everyday household items, they get less of them with the same amount of money. That's bad. Said the council discussed with Alawi, according to the news, the repercussions of the high dollar rate on the market, the damage to the poor. We know this already, okay? Alawi reviewed in a detailed explanation the reason for changing the exchange rate and its relationship to the economic reform, which was according to the extensive study in which concerned parties, not just one person, participated, and was not an individual decision by the Ministry of Finance, noting that the exchange rate change at the time was against the background of the deterioration in global oil prices due to the impact of the RONA. So there was a decline in the volume of Iraqi oil exports, according to the International Monetary Fund, in the amount of 4.9%, as well as the failure to approve the 2020 budget due to the resignation of the government. If you remember, Maliki was the prime minister and his government resigned and caused a huge problem back in 2020. And now he wants to be part of the government again? I don't think so. So it said this led to the stifling financial crisis that prevented the payments of salaries of employees and retirees, which prompted the House of Representatives to pass a legal deficit financing amounting to 27 trillion dinars. The Ministry of Finance pointed out that the 2021 budget, which was developed according to the reform plans, contributed to the developing solution, addressing the financial situation and working to develop the long-term financial strategy by presenting the white papers that restored balance to the Iraqi economy, provided economic stability for people with limited income, and corrected local investments. We know this was much needed. Said the imbalance of the Iraqi economy is due to the negative accumulations and the direct and indirect state control over the economy since the 70s. in the last century. I like how they put that. Since the 70s of the last century. Talk about making it sound like way back in the days, man. Seriously, actually, it has been. Damn. Noting that reconsidering the exchange rate of the currency in an unstudied manner leads to financial chaos, similar to some countries. So the trend was to set the price of the exchanging the dinar comfortably to protect it from any external changes into proactive and correct steps in coordination with the central banks and studying it with the prime minister, heads of political blocs, and other parties, in addition to the support of the International Monetary Fund regarding changing the price at a reasonable rate. If you guys remember, the IMF actually wanted it devalued even more. That's because of globalists. And you'll see how they're able to take advantage of that. I'll actually show you now. Okay, so look at the difference. We had $1 right now could buy you 1,450 dinars. Prior to the rate change, you can get 1,190 dinars for $1. The difference is 260 dinars or 21.8%. So if you borrowed $1,000,000 when the exchange rate was 1,190 dinars for every $1, you can get 1,190,000,000 IQDs. After the rate change, for the same $1,000,000, you could get 1,450,000,000 IQDs. That benefits you if you're a business owner outside of Iraq, but whose company is inside of Iraq. Let's just, for the sake of this, use that same $1,000,000 as an example. So you got $1,000,000 when the rate is 1,190 dinars, and $1,000,000 when the rate is 1,450 dinars. There's a 260 million loss in Iraqi dinars in value. People go, well, Pimpy, how's that so? Well, I'll show you. That same $1,000,000 when the rate was 1,190 dinars, you could have bought a car for $30,000. I'm just using this as round numbers. Once the rate change took place, that same car dealer, that business owner, took in consideration the loss of 21.8% due to the devaluation and has now put it inside the car cost and passed it on to consumers, which means that same car that could have cost 30,000 dinars now costs 36,540 dinars. Do you see the loss in value? It takes you more dinars to buy the same car. That's a loss. The same $1,000,000 that you had when the rate was 1,190 versus 1,450, it's different. There's a loss in value. You could see right here. So if you had $1,000,000, would you want to buy that car when it was $30,000 or when it's up to $36,540? Because you're going to say to yourself, man, when I had a chance to buy it, it was $30,000, but now it cost me $36,540. I just lost technically $6,540. That's what happens. You lost that amount of money. So when they borrow $1,000,000 at the rate of 1,190 dinars and pay it back at the rate of 1,450 dinars, that is a plus for governments. They love devaluing their money and paying back debt that they owed at a cheaper valued currency. So technically what's happening is that same $1,000,000 that they borrowed is being paid back at less than 21.8% of the value. They're paying with cheaper dollars because the money was devalued. So what's happening to that same $1,000,000 once it's paid back at the cheaper rate? Well, the country saves 218,000 dinars, or only pays back actually 782,000 dinars because of the devalued currency. In 2020, before inflation took over, gas was approximately $1.66 per gallon. So let's look at what $1,000 buys you at $1.66. Well, you get 602 gallons. Let's look at it today. $3.45. You get 289 gallons. Do you see the difference? 602 gallons minus 289. Only going back to 2020. We just barely got into 2022. $1,000 before the devaluation of our currency, you could have got 602 gallons of gas. Today, that same $1,000 only gets you 289 gallons of gas, which means what? You've lost 313 gallons of gas for every $1,000. Do you see why it is that governments love to devalue their currency and pay off their debt? Because you're actually paying off the debt with cheaper dollars. So saying that they're not going to increase the value of the dinar is not surprising to me. Not at all. I think what they plan on doing is paying back a lot of the debt that they owed while the currency is devalued. They have enough to do it. They do. Right now, their budget is for $55 a barrel. That's right, $55 a barrel. But we saw that the barrel has jumped up to $105. See here, oil price jumps. Brent crude exceeds $105 a barrel. If they're calculating their budget at $55 per barrel, they are now $50 extra in their income that they did not account for. So what does all that surplus money do? It allows them to rebuild the private sector, giving out more jobs to people, especially the youth, who get to go ahead and earn a living and buy things that they want or don't want. They get to spend it any way they want to. The government's paying out less money in unemployment, less money in welfare, less money in government aid, but instead now it's collecting taxes from individuals who are now working. They pay out less to people who are in need, but gain money from people paying taxes. This is great news for Iraq. This is great for the dinar. So since they have a surplus of money, since the budget only calculated for $55 a barrel, they now get $50 a barrel extra. And what do you do with that money? Pay off all your damn debt while the currency is devalued. Let them pay off their debt. It's most likely everything is going to be paid off this year. There's no reason for Iraq to be carrying any debt past 2022 at all. They have the largest surplus of money coming to them as long as oil prices stay around this level. Even if it drops back down to $70 per barrel, they should still have a surplus. Again, their budget is for $55 a barrel. Talk about additional income. How about this? The decision to lift the ban on Iraqi stadiums is an indication of the end of terrorism. Yes, Iraq gets to get back into sports, but football is their favorite. Or should I say for us Americans, soccer. Currently, Iraq is ranked 74th in the world. You can only imagine what's going to happen to the soccer team once they can get out there and start competing again, especially locally at home, in a huge stadium with lots of supports from the citizens as well as their fans. So congratulations to Iraq. I'm really loving the direction that they're going into. Look, they didn't ask for this crap to happen to them. They had a dictator really just screw things up for them. That guy was removed. For the past 30 years has been trying to make up for the decision making of a leader that made the decisions for all of Iraq without their input. So I'm happy for them. I'm really looking forward to Iraqi people benefiting from this surplus of income, surplus of money, and them to start rebuilding their country. Of course, those who are invested into the Iraqi dinar will benefit from it, but that's not the same as the benefits that the Iraqi people get. A stronger purchasing power is around the corner. Are they going to change the rate this year? It doesn't look like they're going to do anything. They're not even going to go back to the original rate of $1,190 is what it appears to be. But for those of you, if you're just patient, I know you've heard this a million times. I'm sorry, I'm not the other people. But you could see their debt is going to get paid off at a cheaper dollar. They're going to have a surplus of money, a stronger economy, rebuilding taking place. They're now able to deal on an international basis. The doors are open for foreign investors. All I can tell you is that the Iraqi dinar There's nothing but great positive things for that currency in the future, including a much needed and wanted increase in purchasing power. Anyways, that's it for now, you guys. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.